and turn off
Go right ahead, Debbie. Go right.
my phone so there's no noise from that. Hi, morning everybody. So here's what we're gonna work on. In fact, let me get my phone. You probably won't be able to see it very well. Yes, yesterday I took, I don't know how big it is. It's 35 long. It's 17 by 35, and it's a board. It's just a masonite board, and I covered it with layers of paper. Now, LP, go get something to eat, and then come back. Wash your hands and get something to eat. So I covered it with paper and let that all dry and cure the night before. And then what I did yesterday when I was watching other stream is I put a real thin wash of turquoise up here, gray in here, and kind of a reddish rust down here. And then I came back and I stenciled the same color on the top and the bottom for the sky and the water. And this is the Dazzling Metallics in teal, ice blue, and a little bit of peacock pearl. And then here is the zinc and the black pearl, I think it is. It's zinc and black pearl, yeah, which is one of my favorites because it's a sparkly black. And then I took the tape off, and when I took the tape off, it tore. So I came back in and I added the piece of washi tape across here, which is hard to see on the camera. Let me get you a little bit closer and you can see. And then I'm moving things so I can move that just a little bit and you can get it better. And then down here, I just came back with the rust and the water, but I think it'll disappear. And then I'll show you what I'm aiming for. It's a combination. Let me turn the rotate on. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on my phone or not, but it's a New York City Skyline. So that's the portion that I'm looking at, but I'm going to include, I'm going to do it more like this one. I am going to include the Statue of Liberty over here, and I am going to include the bridge over here. So I'm just going to pick out, and you can tell from this photograph that it's got like all the buildings, but I'm going to pick out some of the main buildings to do out of jelly prints. And this was just the same kind of thing, same scene. I'm assuming they're standing on Ellis Island and taking a picture. So that's what I'm working on. And I'm going to start and focus. Well, I'm thinking 3 rows. But I'm going to start with these 3 buildings right here and just kind of work my way. So the first thing that I was doing while I was waiting for the laptop is, oh good, Jean's coming over, is I gathered some of the jelly prints that I have that would be building color or could be building color. So some grays, even some purpley colors, some beiges and browns. And I have quite a few reds because, well, some of it's red brick buildings, But I also want it to be kind of how it is at sunlight when they just glow. So I even included this little pink, some copper. I definitely want this to be, I want this to be this big building right here. And some of them are even very bluish. So I have there's some more coppers and some golds. And I even have some blues to use that I figured would work for some of those buildings that have more of a blue tint. And I may even use some layers of scrapbook paper and then paint. But I thought what we'd start with is, and I don't know how far I'll get, is this building, these three buildings right here. I'm not going to worry about the one in the front. And then I'm just going to kind of, because I need to eyeball size-wise, like how tall to make them. So I know I need like a beige for that building. I need something relatively light in color, so it might be that. And I may also have to just dig through the stack. But for those of you who are watching the recording on YouTube, thank you for coming. If you hear me talking, it's because I'm talking. There's a live stream recorded, and I'm talking to my friends in the box. Let's see. I didn't dig all the way down, so I may. This is my basket of jelly prints. See, I didn't plan on streaming this early. If I was going to stream, trigger head into it. So you'll have to bear with me digging a little. Ooh, I forgot these. I knew I did more the other day. Mostly these are the jelly prints that we used the other day. Let me see if I have anything else in building colors. That I want to use. So, excuse my scrounging through these here. And I think this time I'm not going to cut any windows out because most of them had blackened, like they were just black. So I think after I've laid everything down, I'll come back in and add the details with the black pit marker for the windows, and that'll save some time. That should work. Let me set. That would work. Find ones I like better for those buildings. This one in the back has some beige to it. I like this one. It's not much of a print, but this building's kind of in the back and obscured. So I think I'm going to use these ones right here for this. And most of it's just boxes and rectangles. So I'm just going to keep it kind of simple. I'm not going to worry about Well, I take that back. I said I wasn't. But I am going to use the paper cutter because my first cut was wonky. And it'll be a matter of just eyeballing it and so, like I said, this is going to be right here on the water, kind of jutting out. I think I'm going to just take the top off a little bit so it's just all this gray. And I think I'll put that kind of right there. There is a building coming out from behind it that I can see too. So I'm just gonna use a different print scrap. I think I need to take more of that off. I want that pink anyways. And I'm going to shorten that just a little bit. Once I get that first couple buildings in, and I'm just going to work my way across. So this may not be really exciting. All right, and then this building's on an angle. I think I'm going to use some of this gray. It's got a print on it. It's real hard to see. And then I might use the white marker to come in on this one. Let's take off the top of the paper so I can start getting a perspective of the size. I'm just going to snip where I think I want it. Oh, that tore. Let's do it this way. Okay. Save that scrap for something else. And probably about here. And what I'm going to do is, because I want that angle, I think I'm going to fold it. And just trim it. And then when I add the paint, I think it'll be fine. All right, so then the next one is this big one, and it's got to be taller than, that'll work. It's got to be taller than both of those. And it's actually got two pieces. Or it's cut in. I know it's probably hard, it's hard for you guys to see. It's this one right here is what I'm doing. Morning, everybody that's come in. Good morning, Eileen, Lynn, Mindy, me. Welcome, AZ Stargazer. Morning, Christy, Deb, Petka, Gail, Sandpats, welcome back. If you just came in, what I'm doing is I'm doing one of my cityscapes, and it's 17 inches by 35 inches. And I'm just building the buildings that I'm going to use. And like I was telling the girls a few minutes ago, it's really just about looking at just the geometric shapes and thinking of it as just, rectangles and boxes. Okay. I think this is what I want size-wise. So I'm going to fold it in not quite half, just to give myself a mark. Okay, because this is the side that I'm going to need to cut into. And I'm going to cut up, and cut over, straight. And I think that gives me the basic shape of the building, which would go actually it's going to cover completely. And then it's supposed to have like a little black box at the top. So we can take a piece of this and put that up there. All right, so that's probably good to start with. So let's glue that down. Turn my cell phone off for a moment. All right, and I'll move this to the side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold one edge of the paper and lift up and put some glue under it. And then roll this one up. So that way I don't lose my placement. Put that one down and roll up. And I'm just using Mod Podge. Since I go through it so fast. And then I'm going to take and kind of squeegee out any air. Plus I have to cover the top completely with gel medium to make sure that when I go back with the pit markers. Oh, thank you, Lynn. Most of these are the jelly prints from that stream that I did the other day that I'm using today. I knew I wanted to do this. Well, what happened, guys, is I sold the one that I'd made for my own home. And so now I have that bare place on the wall. I sold the beach one and the city one, where the two of them hung in the house. So my husband keeps giving me a hard time about it. So I'm making this one to hang there until it sells, let's be honest. Because there's always more where that came from. All right, then we'll get this down. I won't finish this today, but we'll at least get the buildings glued on. And I'll probably print I have a different photo reference of the Statue of Liberty, and I'll probably print that photo so I can cut it out in white scrapbook paper and then paint her. And I may use a jelly print since I have a lot of real pretty turquoise ones. Okay. And let's put this on up here. And I'm probably just going to draw the bridge in. I'm not sure. Oh, Bob's going to practice. So he's already packed everything up, Lynn. To leave. They practice on Sundays. They're getting ready for, well, right now he's doing a rock project with a friend who's going to release a new CD. And they practice on Sundays. They're getting ready for the CD release. Hey, LG. All right. So that's good. Let me soak that for a minute. And then let's come back to our reference photo. And I'm just going to pick out some more buildings. Turn it. And I think I'll do this little set right here. I'm just going to work my way over. And these are a lot of buildings. I'm pretty sure that's the Empire State. Don't give me the line, so I probably never been to New York. Okay, I need a sand color. Some of these are just going to be little tops sticking out. One of those has kind of got a salmon color. I know I need a red brick one. Maybe that'll be good for the red brick. Oh, actually maybe that would be better because it doesn't have to be that big. And then that might work too. All right, so let's do the one. This is kind of a peachy color in the background. So I'm going to start with the bottom and trim that. Trim the sides. This piece can also maybe be, there's a building that's got green and black. It's black glass, but it's got green where like the windows are. So I could probably just do the black on the green and that would work. Okay. All right, so let's, now this has to end up being shorter. Like the top has to end up being somewhere in here. May need to even be a little shorter. Let's worry about I'm gonna worry about I think I'm gonna fold it in half so it'll be symmetrical. And I don't know how many layers. I'm just gonna cut a pattern that represents the layers. And I think by the time it's all said and done, that will work. And then there's one over here that's kind of a golden yellowish color. Let me get a yellow. It's kind of got a yellow glow. Ooh, maybe that will be good for something. It's not the piece I was looking for. I was looking for that really bright yellow from the other day. Here it is. And maybe okay, and again it's angled at a corner on one side. So I'm going to fold it and then give it just a little cut just to kind of give it that angle. I think I did this, I did it wrong though. I don't need all of this, so I can cut it again. I did the third on the wrong side. Okay, so that works. And then it's got a little step out sort of. Guess where the penthouse is. Definitely need to be shorter. And I'll probably get rid of some of the excess in a minute so that the top buildings don't have so many layers behind them. All right, and then we just need I need something in a black. So let's cut this. I'm going to leave the lengths kind of nondescript right now. And this one's got like 3 angles. So I'm going to cut one. Ew, that was wrong. It's upside down anyways. Alright, I think I'm just going to nip that end. And then I'm going to fold the other side and kind of nip that one. I don't know if it's really... Maybe I'll give this one in the middle a little slope, and then this one more of a slope. Get rid of all these little bits here. All right, and then that's going to come over here. Again, I'll shorten it when we know better. We'll just keep working our way. There's a big gray. It's kind of a blue gray. So let me see if I can. I think this might work. We'll add more gray to it. It's got beige and gray. And let's see, I want to take that black line off that edge. And it's right here. And the rust building's going to go in front of it, so I think it can really end right there. I think this one needs to be skinnier. So I'm going to trim. I'll leave those step outs, just trim it. Trim it a little more. Just so it's a little skinnier, because it's supposed to be, this building's supposed to be bigger. But again, it's not going to be to, it's not going to be to scale. It's just going to, I guess if you were from New York, you might go, hey, there's a building missing. Now I need something in that brick color. I think I'll use a piece of this. And it's angled. So that gives it an angle. Get rid of that. Okay, and that's going to go. Yeah, this is too wide. Okay, so that's under there, and that's over. And this covers. Okay, this is going to have to be a building somewhere else because I think this needs to be much wider. So let me take another piece of that. And that'll get used somewhere. Let me see. It needs to go from here. Yeah, it needs almost all of it. So let me cut just a little bit off. And let's fold that. Okay. And I'm keeping the angles pretty short. Now that's going to get covered up too by a building. Okay, I think I can glue these down. And once they're not moving around, it'll be easier to build off of. Because I know this has got to go. There's just barely a gap here. Okay, and then I'm going to trim just a little bit of that too. I don't think it needs quite as much. And there's a little overlap of that. And you could do this with any like style of architecture. Even like when I did like houses in neighborhoods and stuff, like the Victorians, I just built it in like boxes. Like, you know, here's the rectangle. Okay, here's a trapezoid, that's the roof. And I just built it in layers and broke it down into geometrics. Which kept my cuts relatively simple. All right, let's put this one down. And this roof line should be about even, if not slightly higher. And I want it to overlap a little. Okay. Now this. Let's put that down. I'm going to leave it long I know there's buildings in front of it and I could have less of it. But since I don't have those buildings built yet, let's keep it a little simple. And I'm not really worried about, like if colors aren't perfect right now. I'm just looking for, when I pick the paper out, I'm really just looking at the building and does that paper have one of the colors that's predominant in that building in that paper? Because I am going to come back with markers and shade and add additional colors on top, which will help it blend. I don't think this building's big enough, but I think it's just going to be what it is. And a couple of these need little boxes and little glass. Like this one needs like a little glass thing on the top. Can't really tell the shape of it, so I'm just gonna give it a little atrium shape and try to finagle it in here. Because I can always blend it out, add to it. And this one needs a little something too. Here's a piece of black. Hi, Jean. I'm attempting the New York Skyline. Let's put that up here. Okay. Now I think we're ready for... There's a building back here and a green and a dark. I know this is going to be my green, which isn't very big. So we take and cut a piece of this. And give it a little fold. And it should go in about halfway, but it ends about the same place, so it's going to end about here. And then I need a little beige one in the background and a little black one next to it. All right, be careful. All right, so those will go there. And then we just need something beige that It's this building in the middle. Oh. Yeah, he's actually gonna start subbing maybe next week for a teacher that's going out that's having a baby, and he'll be her for 4 weeks. We just don't know exactly when. He will take that over. And then later on, he will be the. Actually, I'm going to redo that. They're pretty. Oh, it's this side that's the problem. And then later on, he's going to do the same thing for the 6th grade science teacher who's pregnant towards the end of the year. But yeah, he's been subbing quite a bit. Okay. So I'm going to glue this together as a piece and then put it on there because I need to adjust the bottom. But since they're both in front of this little building right here, and then I think I can just shorten it and do that right there. And put that on as a little unit. Because there are some shoreline buildings that will be in front. Of this. That are not high rises. I'm assuming like down on the pier area, kind of. So like I said, there'll be some shoreline buildings. I'm also probably going to come in and put some trees in before I do. Because probably what I'll do is let this dry and then come in with markers and then do some trees. And usually what I do when I do the trees is I do white paint and let it dry and then come back. Because then I can get that opaque for the white and then put the green on top of it and the brown for the branches. All right, I'm going to move my cart so that I can move this board down and keep you guys in view. And I'll just let that hang off the table. All right, so let's move down to the next block or two. All right, let's see. Okay, this is I love this building. It's blue. So we get to pick, we put this in water. I feel like I have a bubble right here. Let me fine. There's my X-Acto knife. So what I'm going to do is I have just a little bubble where it didn't adhere. So I'm just taking my X-Acto knife and poking a bunch of holes. And then I'm going to take really watered down medium. Get some water. And really kind of force that in. Those holes. And you won't see them because they're so small. And it may not lay down till tomorrow, but it will actually get in there and help that bubble go away. Let that dry there. So that. All right, so we need a blue. There's that blue, but I want to see if I have a better turquoise. There's this. That might be too much like the sky. It will be for sale. I'm going to hang it in my house, Mindy, but I will end up selling it because I'll end up making another. I just was the last piece of the wood I had laying around, and since I'd sold all my cityscapes and I didn't have any more, so I'll end up selling it. I don't think that's blue enough either. I think it's got to be a blue. I think I'm going to use this, and you can see the map in the background. But this is where I may introduce a piece of scrapbook paper. Gotta use those jelly prints up. You just can't let them sit. Gotta find ways to use them. All right. So this has a bit of a curve to it. And it also has, it looks like it's kind of round on the top too, the little piece. So I'm going to trim it. I'm just going to give it just an illusion of being round. Well, I nicked that one. I think what I'll do is I'll trim this. And put it on. I'll just put it on the top when I put it on. I had a new pad of paper that I got. Let me see if I think it had a real pretty blue in there that I had seen. Then again, it may be too, yeah, it's too turquoise. All right. grab my paper scraps because there's another piece of blue scrapbook paper that I have some leftovers, I think. That might work. Well, I can't. What I'm looking for, I can't find. I may have used it all. So the question is, do we want to I think I'll just deal with paint. All right. Hi, Shells. And anybody else that came in that I missed. All right, and I need another dark gray. I think I'm going to use this. This building doesn't have any red in it, but oh well, it does now. Let's see how big it is compared to. This is going to have to lose some of its depth or height or whatever. I think it's too wide still too. So let's do this. Let's fold it in half. I don't want to lose my little arc that I made. Let's take some of that off on both sides. Now I still think I want to give that a little bit more of a curve. Alright, so that's going to go there. Needs a little bit more off the bottom. So that'll go up there. Probably have to adjust the top just a little bit too. And then the one next to it is kind of skinny compared to that one. I'll leave that. It's amazing how many of these buildings are at different angles. Okay, that. Get rid of some of this trash on the table. Oh, Tay-Tay's been outside. She's ordered us for food, water. She's a little spoiled. All right. There's a building back here too. I think I'll just take, is it kind of a peachy building? So I'm just going to take a piece of this. Let's see if I can't. Oh, I have. This building's messed up now. Too short. Sure. That's okay. We got paper. We'll start over again. And I'll even leave that little piece attached. Okay. So it needs to be taller than this black building, and it needs to have this tucked. Give this little angle. Okay, put that there, and then it'll be covered up so it'll look straighter. It is round, and I rounded it. It'll show more round when I paint it. I don't know, Jean. I used about 3 photo references, and it's in both of them, in the photograph and in the other rendering. This is more like an architectural rendering, I think. And it looks like it's not completely round, but like has a glass front on the front that's round. Yeah, it is cool. And there's another one. Look at this. This one is also really cool. It's blue. Okay. All right, so let's glue our little peekaboo building down here. It's gonna and then the angle's not right, but I think once I get paint and stuff on it, it won't matter. If there's a little gap. Thank you, Carrie. I did the rust down here because I thought it would, in the gray, because I thought it would be like a reflection of the buildings. And, oh, almost grabbed the wrong blue building. All right, this needs to be a little shorter. Let me give that a little nip. There we go. Yeah, it's supposed to be like at sunset because I just like how the glow on the buildings is at sunset. So I may even add some, once I add the paint layers, I might give some of the buildings a glow of the quinacridone gold to give them that glow that some of the buildings take on. You know, even some of the glass ones will get it. That building got a wrinkle. Okay. So now this building's too short too. Because I was looking at the wrong thing. But that's okay. Because we have more paper. All right. Let's give that its little angle. And I'm not worried about the angles at the bottom because it's all going to get covered up. In fact, that could end up being something else later. Well, thank you, Carrie. All right. And there's trees down below here. So I'm not going to worry about the fact that that building's just a little, this will all get covered in trees. Okay. That's 3 more. Now we get to a complicated section again. I think we need a piece of black. Let me trim that. Let's see. I'm thinking that can be just right in there. Okay. Rid of those. And then there's a turquoise, so we know we have some good turquoise. That I just had a few minutes ago. This turquoise with the red, or this turquoise with the copper. Let me see what else I have. Because turquoise, I have. Hi, Marie. Hi, Iffy. Okay, I've been on an hour. I also need to watch the time. Looking for a beige. This has a lot of green in it, but it might work once you got the paint on it. I also have this, which could be the beige. In fact, that's a better for the beige. There's a big beige building. that's really fancy. Let's see, we need something. Maybe it's not turquoise enough. That can be our turquoise. This is just brayer paper. This isn't even a jelly print. So like I say all the time, I save my brayer papers. I tend to brayer like colors that go together for the most part in sections. So I get combinations that I like. Oh, there's also another big section in beige right here. I'm wondering. Wondering if this copper will work for some of that. Because I'm going to just do this as one big piece. I know it's hard for you guys to see. I'm looking at this beige building right here. And then this is a set of buildings. But when I do it in the paper, I think I can just do it in one big piece. And then add the, like with the markers and the paint, come back and add the dimensions of the building itself. So there's two beige. There's a turquoise. And I'm going to use, I need something. Maybe this will work for this one. There's here. Let me trim this and start with this long, tall one, and then there's one in front of it, and I'm just going to fake that with paint, I think. Okay. So if I do that there, looks like it comes in a little. Not much, but just a little. I think that's long enough, hopefully. And then let's trim, let's get that copper, this turquoise one. Just, it's not going to be straight right now. Get that off there. Okay, and I want the bottom to be about here. All right, I'm just going to come up, in, up, in, and up. And I think it's good except for it's not skinny enough. So I'm going to trim. And I think that'll be good. And in fact, I'm going to glue that down because I know it goes there. No. Well, I'm going to glue the side down, but I'm going to leave I need to leave this up. I'm going to fold that back. Because I want to have to tuck that big beige monstrosity. Okay. First of all, I'm going to trim off so I can get a squared up piece of paper that has no white on it. Okay. And it needs to be, I like all this little stuff better. I think it's going to have to come down to about here. All right. Oh. All right, this is going to go in here, and this is going to go in here. So it needs to probably be right about there for width. Okay. Still going to take off some of that bottom, I think. Yep, Mildred's going to come live in my part of Texas. She'll be about an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending how traffic is from where I'm at. Still think this is too wide. Okay. I'm going to step in. Just trying to get the basic shape. All right, and then I got a roof line. Okay. Again, it's really more than one building, probably. All right, this has our lovely little steps and angles at the top. Okay, so that looks like that. These are actually turned a corner. So I'm going to nip them corners off on a couple of these because they're the side of the building. And then same with down here. The building turned a corner, so I'm going to nip that. This one has like turned also. And I think that's going to be close enough for what I'm doing. Okay. So I want to put this one in here because this big one's going to go on top of it. Okay. And this one's going to tuck in here. Then we'll put the turquoise back down on top of it. I haven't been to very many more than that. I think the last time I counted it was like 18 or 19 states. And some of them I've just been through. Didn't stop and do anything. All right. I got an issue here. I hope. Why does it glue down really good when you need it to come up? I should have done the same thing. I should have left the... If I can get this really wet, I might be able to get it enough to... I don't care if it's just as long as it's the top. Okay, now it's torn. All right, I'm gonna leave this little plastic credit card tucked in there because I don't want it to glue on itself. This should have been longer, or a building should have been in front of it. We'll just tuck a building in there. Let's see. Don't want... Let's do this. All right. And I need squared off, step down, squared off, down. Let's see if I can pull this back. I have enough of this paper that I may just cover it up. maybe what I have to do. So I'm just going to take it off right here and readjust. Like I said, I've got more of that paper. There's that building that I was trying to cheat. So that'll fill in some of the bottom. And then we need a beige over here. Let's see. Here's a different. This has some beige and some turquoise. So let's try some of this. All right, and we're doing kind of skinny. In fact, it has a turquoise top, so I may just put a, I'll just do it with paint. Trying to keep it simple. Okay. So there's a top. It looks like it has a little bit of a step out. All right. And this is where I'm getting a little creative in some ways with the distance between them. All right, we need to replace the part of that building that we just took off. Now we should be able to get that back in. All right. Piece of turquoise a minute ago. There it is. Making a building to stick in front of that one. It has a little copper roof. It's red brick. Okay, and then still need to come back and put this back in. Here's the one that's dry. Drying. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my little one that tore up and just trim it and add it back on. Just need to trim it a little bit on the bottom, I think. And that'll give me the idea of that building. We are not going to even get to that other building that I really like. So I think I'm going to okay. Going to be at the end of the board here. And I didn't get to do the one that I really wanted. So maybe I'll use that red. I was going to use this copper. Okay. Let me use this silvery blue. I'm going to try to get, the last that I'll get probably is this set of buildings right here. This black, maybe that high rise. But the high rise might be pushing it. So I definitely need black. Well, look, there's a black. That black needs to go behind here. I'll get some water, and if I soak this, maybe I can lift it. I don't need the black to go all the way down. That'll work. Yeah, that's not gonna, that high rise won't fit in there. It's gonna be that big building. And then that's it. Okay. So, yeah, the one that's curved, the blue one, Jean? All right, we need this group of buildings. Let's start by trimming. Something's on my blade. Not super sure if this is the paper I want to. You know what? I don't think I want to use that paper. Let's use this. It's got some green in it, but some of these have green roofs. And it's kind of a beigey color. I can add the reddish. But I need something different. I don't want more of that. Getting too much beige in here. So just start right in here. It's down, across, down, across, down, across. So that works for the middle. Right. Get rid of some of this on the side. Okay, get this up on the bottom gone. I need a new blade for my cutter, I think. A lot of this is going to be paint. Okay. Then I'm going to come down. And I'm just kind of I'm going to take some of that off on the side too. Because I want more of this other side of the building. Or buildings. Okay. That's good, and it can go in front. And it ends right there. Yeah, it's a New York Skyline, and I'm gonna put the I guess I'm gonna put the Statue of Liberty over on this other. supposed to be standing on Ellis Island, looking back at New York. I looked at some from Hoboken. But I really was drawn to this one, and when I realized it was from Ellis Island, that kind of sealed it for me. Ooh, that is not straight. That's better. Oh, I just tore that. Well, it's a good thing there's trees going in front of it, huh? Like I said, this is not actually the bottom. There's going to be a line of trees. Let me throw away some of these scraps that are really trash. Yeah, there are a lot of carols. There are a lot of Lindas too. Okay. All right. How long have... Almost 2 hours? Well, that's not too bad. Sorry, you can hear my phone every time. So here's the original rendering, and we got to here. Well, no, here, take that back. We got 2/3 of it. I would have had to probably scaled it down, but I didn't want the buildings too small and too fussy. So I'm going to pull this back over. Oh. So you can sort of see. So the bridge will be in here. In fact, we might be able to use some of this scrap for the bridge. The bridge isn't in this picture. Yeah. And the Statue of Liberty will go here. And she'll be probably, because she'll be closer, you know, you're on Ellis Island. So she'll go probably about 10, she'll probably about 10 inches. So I'm just gonna cut some some pieces for the bridge. And then I'm gonna trim them. a little. And I'm just going to put them right there because I'm just going to use markers for the bridge itself, I think. Well, no, I take that back. We'll use a piece of this. Okay. That should. Because it goes up and then down. I'm not even sure we need 2 of these, to be honest. She may cover it up. In fact, wish I'd made that one a little taller. I guess I can take and make this one a little shorter because it is kind of angled. And then I'll wrap that around. Okay, so that'll give us the bridge over here. I'm sure you guys can't really see it because it's kind of blending into the background. All right. Let's go back to the other photo. All right, so there's this pier bit. I think this is where some of that turquoise might be pretty. The roof line has a really weird angle. And I'm going to try to do it in 2 colors. All right, so let's put that. It's not perfect, but it gives you that illusion of the roof. And then the bottom's kind of got that gray color again. So I think I'll put this on the bottom, and that'll just kind of give an illusion of the concrete. All right, so there's that. And then there's something yellow there. That's long. I'm gonna wish I had made this deeper, I think. All right, and I think I'm gonna use this piece here for this other building. All right, so it's got a squared off piece that comes down, comes across, and then maybe another piece for the roof line. Whitney Pier, as I've never been to New York, don't get me to lying. All right, and then the roof line, let's make something dark, either black or red. Oh, here's, I know I had this way too long. Okay, there's that. We'll come across here and we'll attach that in there. And then we need another piece that's a little skinnier. That'll come down in here. Like I said, I know this is way too long. All right. So let's get okay. I can come over more. The problem is, no. I should have made this longer. Let me see something real quick. Let me see. I wonder if we don't have a piece of that paper and I could just add to the bottom. don't have this. There's going to be a. Let's see. We can get it a little farther down. That gets it closer to where it needs to be. On the water line. And then I think this, when we get the roof on, will cover up a large part of it. And I'm not going to cut it yet. All right, so here's the first part of the roof. I wish I had some of that too. Most of this is just a little filler. It won't, I don't think it's going to show very much, but it'll keep there if there's any gaps. All right, and I think add that roof. And then I'm going to have to figure out a place that I want to cut it off. Actually, I think I want to cut this at an angle. So that it goes back a little. It gives their illusion of going back. And again, Lady Liberty's going to come up right in this area and block a bunch of that. Trees have to go in here before I put any of those buildings. Even that yellow one that goes here, there's going to have to be trees that go in here. And I think there's a little gray that's going to go right in here. So Our piece that bubbled is laid down pretty flat up here. There's not really a bubble anymore. All right, we got a tree line all the way across that I can come across all the way across here. There's trees all the way in front of those buildings. So that's easy to come in with. So let's get some. This is just a piece of transparency. I might just put some paint on. Let me get rid of the glue. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna get white. I'm gonna use Traditions white. It's an opaque white. There are little buildings in front of, but I need to do the trees. There are little buildings and things in here in front of the trees in some places. And there's a boat, a couple boats. So some of that will get put in. Like, I don't know what any of this is, Jean. I've never been to New York. So what I'm going to do is, and I'm not really worried if the viewer knows it's, well, you're going to know it's New York when you, yeah, this is the building that, right, the Twin Towers were here, and this is the World Trade Center. Yeah, because when I looked at older pictures, photographs, there were some with the Twin Towers. So this should be, I believe, we think, it's this one right here. Now, unless it's this one, that's not on the painting. Yeah, this one, is this the World Trade, the new? Yeah, this is the, because like I said, there were pictures that had the Twin Towers in them, but I didn't use any of the older photographs. When I saw that, well, this one had some of the buildings simplified compared to, I mean, I'm sure that there are buildings that we don't have in here, you know, and I'm just going to give the illusion of some of them, and some of the buildings in this photograph could be gone and been replaced. Yeah, so the one that I don't have on there that didn't make it. All right, so let's do some trees. What brush do I want to use? All right. And I'm just going to not worry about a whole lot. Because, again, there's going to be some buildings that are here. In fact, there's a yellow building that goes right in this area right here. I just want to give myself some greenery to work with. And then once this is all dry and I put the greenery in, there'll be different colors. So you'll see, because there's the row of darker trees in the back, but I just want trees all the way down. In the front of these buildings, off the painting. And then there's a second row in some of them. So that gives me a base to work the trees on. The other thing I think I'm going to do while I have this out is I'm going to get that stencil back out for the sky. And I'm going to stencil in some clouds. Or do we just want clouds? Just an illusion of some clouds. Yeah, it's a wooden substrate, CB. It's a 1/4-inch wood, and I covered it with a vintage map, dictionary, a music paper, let all of that dry. Then I gave it a glaze of turquoise, a gray, like a silvery gray, and some rust colors. After that was dry, then I came back and stenciled with Dazzling Metallics by Deco Arts in the ice blue, the teal, and the peacock pearl up at the top and on the ocean. This is the tree stencil. And then this is this little stencil that I cut on my silhouette. It's kind of a Moroccan pattern. Yeah, this here was cut on my silhouette. It's divider, binder divider, like little plastic that you put in dividers, and they're 8x10 3-ring binders. And then I stenciled zinc, and I knew most of this would get covered up, that there might just be some bits of it popping out here and there. So I knew that a lot of that would get covered. Let's see. I don't know if I want any other clouds. Kind of need a third. Thinking over here, kind of coming out behind this building. A wisp of a cloud. And off. Needs more here. I just don't want to get more white paint out. trying to get what's on my brush and darken it in some areas so it actually shows up. That's good. That gives us like 3. Okay. So let that dry. And I actually have to cover it with a layer of the gel medium because I'm going to use the markers on it. And if I take the markers directly to the paint, it'll kill my markers. But they'll slide over the gel medium. All right. I think that's it for me today. I like where I'm at with it, but I'm getting kind of to the point where I feel like I'm maybe rushing or making decisions too fast. And I need to take a break and like think about the next stage where it goes. I know that I'll need to put, like this has to dry and then I'll put a layer of gel medium on here. I'll actually give it a real good coat before I take a marker to any of this probably again. And then once I get the tree line in, then I can worry about some of the busy little bits. So I didn't get as far down the skyline as I wanted, but I got this one blue building. I wish I could have gotten the other blue building. And I had another really bright red building that I wanted, so. It'll do. This is the first time I've done it where I just didn't make it up. So I'm going to let this dry and then coat it. And I don't know if anybody else is streaming today. I had planned on streaming. I just wasn't going to actually start this early. But it's no big deal that I did. It got me up and moving. So I think there's a book, an audio book with my name on it. Did anybody watch Gilmore Girls? I finished all 4 episodes and now I can't wait for them to do another season. Oh, I will probably film it next weekend. I probably won't do anything until next weekend. School will start Monday and it'll be busy. So I'll come on and stream the rest of it and I'll record it. I have to print the Statue of Liberty so I can cut it in either jelly print or scrapbook paper or white notebook paper, whatever I just, no, not notebook paper, but cardstock, depending how I decide to paint her. I might use a jelly print that has the turquoise and then just give the illusion is what I'm leaning towards out of the jelly print. Yeah, it was good, wasn't it, Shell? And then she, at the very end, when that last sentence, she told her mom, I don't want to spoil it for anybody. It was like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that. However, I do believe that episode 1 and 4 were better than 2 and 3 because she wrote it, not her husband. I think 2 and 3 were kind of weak because her husband wrote them. But if you have never watched Heart to Heart, which I think is on Amazon Prime for free, it's very similar. It's about a doctor that goes down south, and the characters are very similar. I think some of the actors and writers are the same. Also, Bunheads is on Netflix. and the same lady that wrote Gilmore Girls wrote Bunheads, and it's good. It's about a ballet studio, and the same Lauren Graham plays in that, and so does Emily Gilmore, the mother. So it's got some of the same characters in it. They're not actually the same characters, but they play similar characters. I'm not sure if it's your kind of show, Jean. I didn't like two and two and three. I thought two and three were weak, but I really liked one and four. And I noticed that she wrote one and four, and her husband wrote two and three. And they went into that little dance montage and some other stuff. Like, it was not a deep enough storyline. But they definitely are coming back for another season on Netflix. It could even be filmed already. You know, they could have filmed it all and they're just releasing it in sets of four. You can't get Bunheads on Netflix in Canada? Another one that's similar on Netflix is Life of an American Teen, or it wasn't Diary, it was a lot. And it's got some, Luke plays the dad in that one with Molly Ringwald. And it's kind of, it's in similar vein. It's not as funny. It's more drama. So I guess I'll go ahead and stop the recording. Thank you for coming. And like I said, I was going to stream anyways. LP got me to stream earlier. So let me stop the recording.